Lev Vygotsky's social-cultural theory places students at the forefront of their learning. This social-cultural language and learning approach largely relies on child and adult interactions as a catalyst for language acquisition. Vygotsky believes society and culture are the pivotal aspects of his social-cultural theory. He stated that cognitive development relied on mental tools such as language derived from different societies and cultural values, these being the primary roles for language acquisition for children's literacy and language development. This notation is supported by a pragmatic dimension of language, the use of language in various social and cultural contexts in a practical way, as children acquire these mental tools through social interactions with parents, carers, and more knowledgeable others. Through these shared experience, children could adopt their language from an influential other's culture. Ultimately putting an emphasis on the importance of culture, specifically the values, beliefs, skills, and customs of social groups. These aspects could be transmitted to the next generation. Vygotsky's theory on early language development was comprised of three main forms: social speech, communication shared with others, typically seen in children ages of 2, private speech, egocentric, referred to as internal communication from a person directly slightly more intellectually functional and seen in children of 3 years of age, and finally silent inner speech happens when private speech diminishes its audibility until it becomes self-regulating function, essentially a child's internal monologue. This is seen in children at 7 years of age. These various forms of communication are referred to as semantic systems language in either spoken or written form. These main concepts formed the basis of early language development. These elements were vital for children's literacy and language development, as each child is exposed to these elements from a young age, developing and changing as they mature, further aiding to their conceptual understanding behind early language development, this providing them with vital mental tools to communicate with members of society. Literacy is multifaceted, as it's comprised of many modes of communication through music, movement, dance, storytelling, art, listening, talking, and viewing. Active listening and a deep understanding of oral language is critical for ongoing long-lasting literacy learning. Additionally, social interactions form the foundations behind Vygotsky's theory, as this social interaction is essential for dialogue, language, and communication between children and others. This communication is paramount for children to develop ways of thinking and behaving. These foundations fostered Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, as social interaction is the driving force behind Vygotsky's ZPD, bridging the gap between what a learner can achieve independently and what they can accomplish through encouragement and guidance from MKO. Informed the basis for scaffolding through the application of Vygotsky's ZPD. The key to student participation and engagement was through active support, guidance, and assistance from MKO to encourage movement. This kind of support could provide structure and assistance through guidance practice, while gradually releasing the responsibility and reducing the amount of help needed. Ultimately could allow for the child's confidence to grow, allow for autonomy within their learning as they become more competent and involved learners. Quality literature is defined by being extremely appealing for children, as it acts as a hook, captivating their attention. They become intrigued and engaged, actively listening and wanting to know more. Through this engagement, children can let their imagination run wild with new ideas, thoughts, and sensations driven by experiences and knowledge from the literature they are listening and reading. This visual literacy allows learners to make connections, critique, and evaluate the information they are learning. These are the key elements of quality literature. Literature is multifaceted, fostering a large variety aimed to appeal to all individuals, as it can be fictional, historic, poetic, factional, and a combination of these. Storybooks are powerful, multimodal resources teachers and MKO can utilize to actively engage children and students. In the classroom, storybooks can encourage collaborative learning, as students share books with group reading. They all experience a book together, fostering a love for book reading while encouraging peer relationships to flourish. In addition, storybooks can be knowledgeable tools, as some of these books acknowledge the link between storytelling and culture. This cultural consideration directly impacts children's literacy and language development of all diverse backgrounds, as it can allow students to develop a sense of identity. Signifying the importance of connecting with culture through the aid of quality literature provides an educational experience for children. Working together, they can become aware of history, diversity, culture, and the land surrounding them, as there is a substantial evidence that articulate Aboriginal youth face dire challenges in schooling. This notation supports many cultures as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people rely on storytelling as a way of expressing, communicating with their peers, and aiding to their conceptual understanding. This acknowledgement of culture is significant for children of diverse backgrounds, as it can help them feel more welcomed into culture they may not be familiar with. This link between literature and storytelling is part of their culture, making a direct connection to home, something that is sacred to them. The importance of cultural awareness between peers is paramount for peer relationships and empathy to form. This recognition and appreciation is significant, and some children may rely more on pictures from storybooks to compile their information rather than words. This may be their form of processing. Without the diverse approach, some children's needs may not be met, as all children have varying needs and abilities. The rate at which children progress through the stages of language development can differ between children regardless of social context, language background, or culture, as all children are individual in their learning, ultimately fostering a positive impact on children and their literacy and linguistic development as they become aware of diversity and culture through the history of quality literature and storytelling. Quality children's literature can have a profound impact on children, as it can be utilised to scaffold a diverse learner's early literacy and language development, as its multisensory experience that can allow children to make connections between real life and their imagination. This experience can be engaging for all children, as quality literature can be captivating and appealing to all. The book I've chosen to focus on in this element of my assessment is an Indigenous book by the name of The Bat and the Crocodile, an Aboriginal story from the people of the Woolman Turkey Creek in Western Australia. It was told in the Kajai language by Jacko Delunu, then translated to English by Hector Sandalou, compiled by Pamela Loves. This literature is suited for children aged between 4 and 7 years. This example of quality literature is rich in culture, as the story was told in their native language. The illustrations were adapted from paintings, and the story derived from children living at the Woolman. When selecting and evaluating the quality of multicultural picture storybooks, there are some things to consider: author, story, characters, setting, plot, theme, illustrations, and developmental appropriateness. These considerations highlight the importance of selecting quality literature. These multicultural picture books are the catalysts utilised to scaffold diverse learners' early literacy and language development, as it can encourage a child's prior knowledge while exploring vocabulary, writing aspects, language devices, and grammar. Quality literature can act as a vibrant stimulus to engage students' attention, which can help them make connections with the text read and their own knowledge and experiences. Ultimately, it is through this connection and the unity of cultural traditions within the research and theory about literacy and diversity. This is achieved by utilising the curriculum, ways of thinking, and assessment strategies in literacy and language development. Through this, diversity can be extended, leading to diverse students' schooling experience to be more collaborative and inclusive. Highlight the importance of providing students with opportunities to experience quality literature that is diverse. This can be done through shared peer group reading and oral storytelling activities where children's literacy and language learning is the focus that can be supported. Thus, scaffolding provides structure for diverse learners to be challenged in their early literacy and linguistic development. This storybook I've chosen connects directly with culture, storytelling, and dream time. This connection to their sacred culture directly influences diverse learners, as they too can feel connected to their culture and ancestors through literature like this. Ultimately, quality literature can be used to scaffold diverse learners, as it connects to their culture, language, and literacy. This cultural connection could help diverse students feel more accepted and confident in their early language and linguistic development. Additionally, diverse learners can contribute to discussions about the book, which can lead to positive peer relationships, engagement, supportive classroom environments for all students to feel comfortable, confident in their learning, ultimately aiding to achieving equitable outcomes for all students from diverse backgrounds.